Hey everybody, Sanavi here, and today we're going to take another look at my Shadowblight Minion Necromancer. It's been a few days, but I wanted to do a quick progress update since I'm almost 80 on hardcore, and just go over my skill tree, Paragon, and gear choices in case anyone's interested, and then do a quick dungeon just to see how things are looking. We're just going to hop in the game real quick. So far the build has been very successful. It was great at leveling, and I'm not really encountering any issues at doing dungeons at the moment. I am currently still trying to unlock the rest of my Paragon and really customize my ancestral gear, but it's been overall a lot of fun to play. So looking at the skill tree, if we go to the top here where our generators are, we have 2 points allocated into decompose, but we don't use a generator on this build. We have great essence uptime regardless, but we have to put 2 points here, so they're currently sitting at that. For our spender, we're using Blight, specifically Supernatural Blight. I really like this ability, especially in conjunction with the aspect on my gear. It allows me to group up mobs easy, and then I can dump all my corpse explosions on top of it. It's just really great at ramping Shadowblight. We currently have 1 point in Hued Flesh. Eventually I'll have this maxed out once I finish all of my Renown. This is just really good at having extra corpses when you're doing single target like bosses. Because I'm playing hardcore, I need to have Blood Mist. It's my oh shit button. If I was playing softcore, I wouldn't have this. Our clear comes from Corpse Explosion, specifically Blighted Corpse Explosion. This is really good damage, and we're using it in conjunction with the unique gloves, which basically turns the corpse on the ground into a mob that will charge at an enemy and then blow up on them. It allows us to very easily get our Shadowblight onto things without worrying about where the mobs actually are. Because I want to play minions on this build, at least in a support function, we have to invest in all the minion nodes. So I have 3 points in Skeletal Warrior and 3 points in Skeletal Mage. Our essence uptime comes from Grim Harvest, so we're fully maxed out in this. And because we're not using a generator, we can use that slot for a curse. So we're going to Decrepify into cooldown reduction. This is a really great curse because it slows enemies. It has a chance to stun them. And the really nice thing about it is the cooldown reduction. So when we use this on a large pack, we can continuously spam our Golem ability, and it makes sure that my Blood Mist is readily available in case I need it. Coming down here, we have 3 points in Necrotic Carapace. This just means that we're going to have Fortify all the time, which is great for damage reduction. For our Shadow Wheel, we have 1 point in Reapers to unlock it, and then we're going all out on Gloom and Terror. I'm currently playing around with Crippling Darkness for chance for stun off of my darkness abilities. At the next part of the tree, we have all of our minion nodes that we have to allocate to help with their survival. So 3 points in Golem Mastery, 3 points in Bonded in Essence, so that our priest heals them more effectively, 3 points in Depth's Defense so they can't get one shot, and then we have 3 points in Inspiring Leader so that when I'm healthy, my minions and I have more attack speed, and then via our amulet we're actually overcapped on Hellbent Commander, which just means when I'm close to my minions they do more damage, and on this build we're close to our minions all the time. And then our main ability is Shadowblight. This is what the whole build is built around, and it's just we do darkness damage, it applies dots on mobs, and then that damage ramps and ramps, and we just blast. For my Paragon boards, eventually this will be a 4-board setup, but right now I only have 3, and I'll walk you through the choices I've done. On the starter board, we're using the Mage Glyph. We're scaling our mages on this build and all the damage they do, and the starter board has a lot of intelligence here, so eventually when this glyph is maxed out, we'll dump all of our intelligence nodes in here and ramp up their damage. The next board is Cult Leader, with the glyph socket in the left and the legendary node up at the top right. We want to max out the radius here, so that we can have all the increases via the Dead Razor glyph for all the damage reduction and damage that our minions do. And then we pick up the flat minion damage here, our Skeletal Mage cluster here, because that's what we're scaling. We pick up the Legendary node, which gives us 45% extra damage because we're using all 3 minion types. And then we pick up the Minion Survivability cluster up here. Our next board is Wither. This is for scaling our shadow damage. So we want to pick up all of the shadow reduction or damage reduction from shadow dotted mobs here. And then we have our shadow damage cluster here, shadow damage and damage to elites here, and then the legendary right here. and eventually we'll unlock this glyph socket, and we'll put control in there so that any damage that myself or my minions do is increased to anything that's crowd controlled, and there are constant crowd controls going off with this build. For our minions, we're using the Reaper for our skeletons. This is just for corpse generation. We're using the Cold Mages with the Vuln. We don't need to worry about Essence return, and they are great because they help Vuln things, and then they provide that chill and freeze for the extra CC. For our Golem, we're using the Iron Golem because he can stun, and then also the vulnerability that he does. And on large packs, like I mentioned, because we have basically no cooldown, we can spam this over and over, so he's constantly stunning, constantly vulning. For the gear, I'm going to walk you through this. The main thing, especially playing on hardcore, is defensive stats. So in Diablo 4, mobs don't do necessarily too much more damage as things ramp up. Or I'm sorry, they do more damage as things ramp up, and you have to worry about less about their defenses. So when you're building, you want to heavily invest in your defenses. Your damage should scale pretty good, especially with Paragon. So with my gear, I'm going for a lot of defensive affixes. So things like flat life, total armor, and then we're looking for any types of damage reduction affixes. Any kind of resistance rolls are actually really bad right now. Creparion did a video on that if you want to get all the details, but you really shouldn't be going for resistances on your gear. So you can see here I have life and armor on my helmet. Things like life, armor, and darkness skill damage on my chest. On my shield, for instance, we have damage reduction while fortified. We're always fortified on this build. Damage reduction from distant enemies, flat life, fortified generation. We have things on my amulet like damage reduction while fortified, damage reduction from close enemies, damage reduction from distant enemies, just constant stacking of defenses. That's pretty much when you go for the build. If you can fit in things like any type of damage is good. So damage to stunned enemies, damage to affected by shadow damage over time enemies. These things are really good because we're constantly stunning enemies, and everything we're attacking constantly has a shadow dot on them. For the aspects, I'll walk you through that real quick. On the helm, we're using Hardened Bones. This just gives our minions flat damage reduction. On the chest, we're using the Blight aspect, which is how we group things up when we use Blight. For our gloves, we're using Howl from Below. This is what allows our corpses to res as little minions that run around and then explode on packs and blow up and do the damage on them. For our pants, we're using Disobedience. This gives us armor increase, stacking all the way up to 50%. This is huge because this gives us across the board mitigation on all physical and non-physical damage, and then our minions inherit a portion of this, which makes them tougher. On the boots, we have Blood Getters for 2+ Skeletal Warriors. That just helps with the corpse generation. On our weapon and on our ring, we're running the Shadowblight aspects. If I was playing softcore, I would be using a two-hander on this build to go for more damage, but because it's hardcore, I'm running a one-hander and an offhand because I want the extra aspect for defense as well as extra defensive nodes. So we have you deal 113% increased damage for 6 seconds after the Shadowblight key passive damages enemies 10 times. This is constantly proccing on this build via all the corpse explosions we're doing, so we're just have an extra 113% damage pretty much every couple seconds. For the aspect of decay, this basically makes our Shadowblights ramp with more damage and stacks up to 5 times. Band of the Umbral just helps us with our essence generation, so anytime we crowd control an enemy, we get back 3 of our essence. We're CCing all the time on this build. For our amulet, we're actually putting the +2 skeletal mages here, which gives us actually +3 because it's an amulet. This is a build where I want to build around the skeletal mages in conjunction with my shadow damage, so I put that there. We then have all of our gear socketed with the damage reduction while fortified gems because we're always fortified. And in our jewelry, we're putting the flat armor gems. And then in our weapon, we're putting the damage over time gem. And that's pretty much how we're going for gear. I'm only 78 now, and I'm already at almost 7.5k health. You can see I'm crafting a chest right here. where I have flat life, damage reductions, and then playing around with maybe either putting intelligence there, or what I really want is just a flat armor roll. In an ideal world, I'd want a +2 armor percentage on this chest, and then maybe drop the lesser damage reduction node for like the intelligence. But yeah, you pretty much want life, damage reduction, flat armor, and intelligence on your gear. This would be the 4 primary stats. The other thing to try to go for is like on your weapon and on your jewelry, if you can roll it, you want the vulnerable damage, because that's a multiplier. So you can see on the weapon we have it, and on this ring we have it. I was not able to get it on this ring. I opted for life instead because I'm playing hardcore. More life is better survivability. We're going to go through my sigils real quick and see if there's any that I'd like to run as a test here. This one actually looks good, but I don't think I have this dungeon unlocked yet. Let's see. Nope, I do. Okay, so we'll do Sunken Ruins. This is only a tier 31, but I wanted to just kind of see how things look right now with the build. The lag on loading transitions is a little fun in this game right now. They really need to try to optimize these things better. I'll also be providing timestamps in the description so you can skip around. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't normally edit videos, so this is just a flat recording just to kind of show you guys what I'm doing and where things are at.
I need time to do that. I need time to do that.
Okay, so in this dungeon, this little thing is going to follow us around, and then it's going to do a sphere that if we stand inside of it, it's just going to do damage to us. But I'll go ahead and let it see. I'm going to see if it's going to follow me and then do that, so I can show you how tanky this build is currently, just at 78 on a 31. So pretty sizable hit there, but nowhere near to like bringing me to lethal damage. You still want to avoid stuff like that because we are hardcore. We're taking damage for other stuff anyways, so you just want to play smart.
I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I'm not ready yet.
I mentioned this in my other video. Necromancer isn't exactly the fastest class in the game right now. So it's not going to be a speedy boy like what some people are playing. But it's there's something about it that's aesthetically nice. Just kind of run around, group stuff up, then mow them down. You can see here I'm using that blight to gather everything up, and then we just mow them down. This is a little tricky here because there's that little soul trap. That thing does a lot of damage. Don't want to try to get hit with that on something like hardcore.
I need more time.
Okay, we have an elite here. I'm
I'm
gonna
not
try to group
ready
all this stuff up. You just kind of mow it down.
I'm not ready yet.
Pylon. Alright, it looks like we need to go. Like I missed something all the way at the top over there.
I'm not ready yet.
Back this way. Thing like sped up real quick there to get to me. Yeah, so we had to grab this right here. I'm pretty sure some mobs will spawn here. Oh, okay. That's cool anyway. Cut this off. Some mobs should spawn here. Yeah, there we go.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
But one should be.
I need more time.
I really hate the ghosts because they're a pain to try to stack up. Get some elites over here.
I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I'm not ready yet.
Some blind going on. And I believe we just blow up these guys now. Now, one of the worst things about playing minion builds in this game is the suppressor nodes. So these right here are really bad for minions because they your minions basically do no damage while they're not inside this sphere. So what I'm trying to do is move a little bit out of it to get my minions to go inside the radius of it so that they can help do damage. It's not too bad when it's a non-teleporter that has that, but when it's a mob that also has teleport, it can get super annoying. Another elite over here.
I'm out of essence.
Right.
I'm not ready yet. I'm low on essence. I'm not ready yet. I need more time.
Nice.
I need more time.
I always enjoy these little events because they're good for XP.
I need more time. I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I need more time. I need more time. I'm not ready yet. I need more time.
Just trying to find the 2 other skeletal constructs.
I need more time. I need more time. I'm not ready yet.
Okay, here's one over. Up in this.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
That blind is really unfortunate where it is.
I'm not ready yet. I'm out of essence yet.
The other thing that's a little annoying about minion AI right now in this game is I can't direct where they attack. So if my minions get it in their head that they want to attack, say, you know, random mobs that I'm not trying to focus, that can be a bit of a struggle.
I need more time.
To try to really focus the damage. Blow up something. So,
I'm
yeah.
not ready yet.
Really, I think, like, a few things they need to fix with minions right now is they need to fix being able to have a way to target enemies via a keybind or some kind of ability, and then they need to also still tweak their survivability, because for as much as you invest in them, they're still really weak to certain things. Specifically, it seems like fire damage for whatever reason.
I need more time. I'm not ready yet.
As you can see with my essence right now, really not having an issue with the essence gen. It's overall pretty good. But as you can see in the corner right here, a few of these mobs are up over there, so instead of being over here in the fight, they were off to the left, trying to kill whatever over there. Not what I needed them doing.
I'm out of essence. I need more time. I'm not ready yet.
That's the dungeon. Not too bad overall. Tier 31. So, you know, pretty good for 78. I'd be curious to see another, 5 to 10 levels how far I can push it once I finish out the Paragon board. The next board is going to probably be Scent of Death, and then fitting the Scourge glyph in there. The Scourge glyph makes it so that we can ramp up our shadow damage. And that is allocated in the build that is going to be linked in the description. So I hope this was enjoyable for some people, and you can see that there are different ways to play Necromancer. Yeah, take care.